Good morning. It's really cold out compared to the last week or so. Plus it's very, very windy. So I tried to find a place up in the mountains where it would, be less windy between the banks and the trees and stuff like that. So I'm going to take you on a walk today, and it's going to be up a stream. And the stream, as I film it, looks just like a stream. But a bunch of years ago, like say maybe 15 years ago, I'd been walking up through here and I found an area where the water and the level just happened to be right at the time. It was flowing. It was like a hump and then flat and then a hump and flat and a hump and flat, and that kind of piqued my interest. So I started digging around, and what I found were little tiny railroad ties. So this is an area where there was a furnace, and an iron ore furnace. And the furnace was built in 1770 and went through production until 1895 with a few different owners. I think it was 2 or 3 different owners. And I think this is Pennsylvania, of course, and I think Pennsylvania had somewhere between like 10 and 15 furnaces in operation in that time period. I'd have to look that up. But interesting thing about this area is they use various fuels. It did, in the early days, it used charcoal, which was made by going up in the mountains, cutting down lots and lots of trees and clearing sides of mountains and burning the wood and turning it into charcoal, and then that was used to power the furnace or melt the ore. The people actually lived in the mountain, and that was their job, was to cut wood and burn it. And they were called colliers, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So throughout the mountain, there's areas that look or were once collier huts where the people lived for their shift, and the shift could be various times, a week, 2 weeks, something like that. But at any rate, I'd like to hike up to one of those sometime and do a little detecting around them. So we'll do that later in the summer. But for today, because it is so windy, we're just going to kind of stick to the area that's protected from the wind. And after the charcoal, they started using coal to feed the furnace. And they ran that until about the end of production. So thanks, and let's start our little journey and see if maybe we can find a railroad tie. I brought the magnet today, not the metal detector, because I never have run a magnet up through here. It might be very interesting. So let's start our little journey and see what we come up with. I'm gonna put you down a second because I need to get my gloves out and get prepared for this little journey. And I forgot my tripod and my little handy stick, so you just sort of have to bear with me. Getting the magnet, getting my gloves, and my gloves are wet and very cold from yesterday. Holy cow, I should have warmed those and my wading boots up a little bit before I put them on. I got my magnet, and just bring out a few feet of it, put the end of my jacket. I'm ready to go, and here is the star of the day. But here we are. Let's start by just going down in here and just dropping the magnet a little bit. You can see it's pretty deep. Some people have built a little dam here. The tree roots have grown over the years. And we have some very pretty little waterfalls flowing here. Very nice area back here. So I'm running the magnet through this little pool at the bottom of the waterfall. And I haven't felt anything yet. But I'm probably going to be picking up lots of iron ore, because that's what was brought back or dug out back here. and I'm really hoping I can find something. It'd be nice. At one time I had one of the little spikes that held down the little rails. Oh, and by the way, this was, I call it a dinky railway. It would have been little hand carts. It wasn't wide, and the track itself is very narrow gauge. So I imagine it was hand carts, or at best pulled by donkeys or horses, something like that. So finding a little horseshoe back here would be very, very interesting to me. For some reason I have this kick about finding horseshoes lately. But anyhow, as you can see the stream as it goes up, and again, this was not originally a stream. This would have been the area where the rail was, and you can see the bank, the way it was piled up here. And we're talking a long time ago, so a lot of brush and a lot of trees have grown over the years. Interestingly enough, look at this. I think I have found one of the railroad ties that's exposed. The stream's changed a lot back here. So, yeah, I believe this is one of them right here. You can see, I'm going to dig it out. I don't know if this is one of the rails or if this is a tree, but this looks like it's been cut. I'll dig it back just a little bit. You can see the shape of it. It's more squared off than most things you see back here. Let's see if I can pull this moss back just a little bit. I'm not sure how far the spike runs, or it runs back here. But it'd be very interesting to see if we can actually find a spike. So bear with me while I try to open this. It's very tightly grown into it. Pull it back. See if I can find the end of this tie. Okay, that looks like the end of it right there. The board. Now, so I have not gotten to the end of the tie yet. So if I had my tripod, I could probably show you what's going on here a little better. Yep, still going back. I'm not going to dig it totally out. I just want to get to the end of it so I can see if we can find any spikes, which wouldn't be right at the end, but would give us a starting place. And I don't see any at this end here. Since this one's so easily exposed here, the spikes may have been pulled out by hikers and people who have summer cottages and cabins up here. Because I'm sure this is a pretty active area. Just not seeing anything. Let me run the magnet through just to see if maybe there's something broken out. if I had my metal detector, I could probably do the magnet. Now I'm free. Alright, so let's walk up through here now. See if we can come up with anything. I think we're gonna have a tree in our way here. We have to go under it. Hold on a second. There we go. Yeah, there's a long stoop. And an area here it's a little bit deeper. We might have another tie here buried in the bank. Things have changed here a lot over the years, so it doesn't look exactly the way it did even years ago when I was back. Hold on. Yeah. This is one of the old ties right here. You can see it. Very interesting. They were basically just, you know, mountain trees that were a little squared off. And it did the job. As I said, they were kind of dinky tracks. They didn't need too much. Yeah, this area has really changed a lot even since I've been back and found this. Let's see if we have anything in the magnet. Nope, just some little magnetic stones. So let's hike on back some more. Here's another one, another tie crossing a creek. This is kind of the area where I had first noticed them. I'll let the water clear a little after it gets some of this debris off. Right there, you can kind of see it now go across. It's kind of interesting. That's what I saw one time when this stream was a little different than it is now, but the water just made little humps. So let's keep going, see what we can find. There's another one. These were much better laid out in the past when I found them. Yeah. Here's one that looks like it's high and dry. Basically, right here you can see it going across. Let's see if there's any spikes in this one. That might be a spike too. Yep, there is one. Looks like it's broken. Looks like probably the head's broken off. But you can see it right there. And the magnet goes right to it. Let's see if there's any further down. Be like one end. be a nice one to pull out. Maybe we'll come back to that too. We'll progress up the stream, see what else we can find. Kind of get tangled up here in my ropes. Okay, here we go. I don't know what happened over to the little spike I had. Not sure. No, I don't think that's another one right there. Looks like this one doesn't go the whole way through. Maybe it does. Maybe it's just underwater more. Let the water clear up a little bit now. Turn the magnet down on it. Not feeling anything. Yeah, I bet over the years people that had the cabins back here saw these and may have pulled the spikes. Because I don't remember too many when I was back here. Well, continue up a little bit. But I'm hoping if the magnet it would actually find a spike. See that? Going across there. Let's look at this one under here, feel it. There may be a spike. Not feeling anything with the magnet. And there's another one running right across there, and just up from it is another one. I think what I'd like to do is bring the metal detector back here to go over them, or at least the pinpointer. There's one, there's another. There's my foot area, and then right up here is another one going through. And I think we can go over this log. Here, right below me as I step over is another one. See them here? Whoa! Almost did a header into the water. Yeah, the ends go back into the banks, so I'd need the pinpointer to push back in without digging them all out. And I don't want to change the flow of the water and stuff too much by digging out the sides. It's finding its natural course here. I don't want to really disturb that. There's another one. Another one. Seems like the further we go up, the closer they get. I'm not exactly sure why yet. But there's one. There's another one. More, dragging my magnet as we go things out, and this stream eventually formed. If I recall right, I did not find anything above this point, but I'll take you up into what I think was the pit or the quarry, and as I said, the Dinky road would have come back through here. It's kind of mucky. That looks like a tie that is very rotted. That's a good one to bring a pinpointer back on, because if there is a spike, it'll just come out in our hands. Alright, well, we're going to climb up here. I'm going to take you back into this little area. This is what we always called ore holes in this area. There's just holes that where they dug the ore out of, and of course it was all by hand back then in these little areas. Throughout the mountain there's all kinds of little test holes where they would dig out a little bit just to see if there's any ore, and if there was, then they'd do more. Now, this whole area back here was dug out by hand, loaded into little carts and hauled out. And I see some pipe running through the mountain, or through the bottom. I don't know if you can see them. They're water supply lines to the cabins. And I see a bone. This looks like a backbone with some ribs attached. A little bit of scat right beside it. I'm sort of looking around here because at one time I had found a bit of rail sticking up out of the ground. I kind of wanted to share that. But I'm not seeing it now. Could be I'm just in the wrong area, obviously. So, let's keep walking around. As I said, I know this is a long video. I'm probably going to edit it. But just in case, you might want to walk with me. Ah, boy. I'm not 30 years old anymore. So that. This is another area here that's been dug in a long run. So it's possible we even there could have been some dinky rail in there from way back. It's so beautiful up here in the mountains. Spring's right around the corner. It's a nice time to be walking around. Oh yeah, this looks a little more familiar, but I just don't know. I thought I was going to be able to walk right to it. It's been so long. So we got a little bit of a rub here. It's kind of old. Definitely not a new rub. Yeah, just beautiful in here. Just beautiful. Always like this little area. What amazes me is now it's a tranquil, quiet area. And at one time it was bustling. There were hardly any trees, and there were people digging and clanging of hammers. Just look at the way the side has been cut out. You can see up this hill. I'm trying to get the viewfinder to turn on. Anyhow, you can see up this hill how things were dug out one time. See, we're in a quarry area now. If you look all around us here, kind of surrounded by something that was dug out. We're sort of just walking right up through what would have been the quarry, or the ore hole, where they take the iron ore out, and then they would take it to the furnace, melt it down, try to take out as much impurities as they can, and then eventually it would go places to get stuff made. So here I am walking around, and after almost 30 years I've found what I was looking for, believe it or not. Here is a section of the Dinky rail. You can see it's not very big. It's just a real narrow gauge type stuff. You see this one right here is probably where they had the spikes in it. That's very magnetic. I'd love to have a piece of this. If I remember right, I tried to pull this out when I was younger and couldn't, so I'm not even going to try now. I can't believe I found that after all that time. But this was, I don't know if it was hand forged or how it was, but you can see over the years it's definitely narrowing out some. It's just very interesting that this area was dug out all by hand, and they had some sort of little carts, and I'd love to maybe find a cart wheel or something like that nature. I'm gonna walk up in here a little bit, because actually I don't ever remember walking up through here. This area is a little more complex than what I recall. Yeah, these little war holes go back a lot further than I thought. Yep, very interesting. To think at one time this mountainside was bustling with activity, and now it's a very quiet place for the animals and for people like us to hike through and discover interesting things. some of the ore holes around here have water in them and have become little ponds. So this is a lot more extensive than I recall. I don't think I ever walked through like this. I think when I got to the track, that was it. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. There's gotta be some neat stuff back here. Wow. Yeah. That's high. That really goes up there. Particularly that one. That's a really high bank on that. Well, let's walk on back through. We'll go to the high side on this one. Wow, look at this. This whole area. Boy, oh boy. Yep, very interesting. I think what we're walking on, you can see the pile, it's like a pile of dirt in the center between, you know, the little valleys or the quarry cuts. So they probably threw the dirt up as they went. So for us artifact hunters, way down like 12, 15, 20 feet under these hills could be neat stuff. Which will never be found. And maybe that's what it's supposed to be. But anyhow, there's got to be other stuff in here besides spent 30-30 shells and stuff like that. Whoa, it's really boggy there. You just step in and boom, you're sucked right down in. It's got that good earthy, rotty leaf smell to it. All this area here is kind of new to me. See a park bench, see all the little areas that people over the years have made little dams to make a pool by their benches to just sit and reflect, maybe reflect on what this area was or reflect on life in general. We're going to cross the bog here. Oh, that's really interesting right there, how it's getting undercut by the stream. That's really neat. There's a nice sound. Let me come over here and film this a little bit so you can hear it. Can you hear that? That, my friends, is a gurgling stream. It's gurgling. And it did it just for us. We're going to pass through. Might as well walk down through the water, it's easier. I think this was part of the stream. But it's really beautiful. Very, very beautiful. For the stream down there is where the railroad ties are. where they start, and the stream kind of cuts around like this and then goes straight down, and straight down is where we saw the tides. Let's walk over here. That's interesting. I wish I knew more about the history here. I learn as I go, but I also wish that there was more detailed history on things. People always talk about what years the furnaces were here and living conditions, you know, to some degree, but they never talk about the little details of, I had to push the cart uphill before I started digging, you know, that kind of stuff. So, the stream comes down here and drops a good bit into the part that now has the railroad tie. So, I'm wondering, I imagine there's been a lot of deposit in the stream over the years. However, when I look at those ties, they're still fairly exposed, but maybe they're just high enough that things can't collect. Pardon me. This might be a good place to come a couple times a year just to look around. Okay, here's where I see the first tie. I know there's other ones up there that are just under. So there's the first one. There's another one. There's more. And more. I would think if I was going to find a spike, it would be on one of these that's more under the water. Let me just feel around here a little bit. Pull the moss back, carpet. I think if I could find the end, then I could sort of feel my way closer to the center. Let's go to this side of it once. The water's cold. It's colder than the creek was yesterday, anyhow. Yeah, how I go in there. Stream's changed a lot over the 100 years or so. It was about ready to yell, but it was my little crowbar. So I'm glad I did latch onto it. I don't want to lose it. Very handy having, bear with me, I'm sorry, having a small crowbar. Especially as much boating I do. Ooh, baby. Oftentimes things the hitches get hung up, things like that. So having one handy in the truck works out well. So we're headed back down here. There's another tie. Should be coming up to the truck pretty soon. Let's just go over this rotten log here. Pull it out. Okay, there we go. No, nothing. Look a little further. There's one. Nothing. Let's go here. Some tree roots are growing into the stream. Oop. No. It's just a pinpointer going nuts. Let's check it. Wait a minute. No. Oop. Oh, shucks. Thought we were getting somewhere. That little metal hasp is hitting once in a while. It would be like that if we were hitting. I don't think this is one here. Looks too big to me, but I'm gonna roll it just the same. I don't know, could be one. It looks like it's square cut. Oh yeah, that's been cut. That looks like a, could that be a spike hole? Maybe. I know, here's that one we found that's broken, a little piece of it. Oh, I had the camera up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting excited. That's the broken spike. I wonder if the head is... It's so hard to tell. That's the head? I don't think so. I think it's part where it came through. Might be too close. Ah, hold on. Things get contemptible once in a while. Nothing back in there. Nothing at the bottom. Alright, let's progress on. That looks just like a tree. Like what happens, there's so much iron ore up here that it can affect the pinpointer too. So at least we found part of a spike, so that's my story up here, and I'm sticking to it because we found it. So, okay, here's another one. Yeah, right there, that looks like a spike hole. Right there. hear anything on that one. I just always think there has to be something cool in these little areas under the trees where it collects little treasures. Okay, here's one that's definitely under. Oh, I feel a hole in the log. That's probably it. That's probably the spike hole. If I come over, I would think, right, if that's there, maybe over in here would be another one on the other side, but nothing on that. Let's check this one. Nope. Well, I would think if they pulled the spikes, when they pulled the rails, they probably dropped one or two. So I think if we just came back here again with the actual metal detector, might be able to come across something laying in the water. Crossing that crackly log again. There we go. Okay. I think this is where I was going to say the elevation started to get a little steeper, and I wonder if that's why there's more ties. Don't know. Nothing. Ooh. Pulled the phone there. We got a hit back in there. Okay. Yeah. Back in. There's something screaming at me. Let me see if I can make a little bit of room. See what's back here. See how far. Let's see, it's under that rock about 3 or 4 inches. Okay, where we got going? Sounds like the pinpointer's actually overloading in there. Well, I might have to dig out a little bit here to get back in, but I think it's worth it. I think historically it's worth it. I know monetarily it's probably going to be a spike. That's what I want. So it's more history related. Probably once I figure out more in this area, I'll donate the stuff to the museum if there's one around here that handles this stuff. Alright, let's see where we're at. Get this beam cleared. Oh, we got something big here. I think it's going to come out. It's pretty rotted. Ah, wow. Very interesting. Look at that. That's not just a simple spike. That's a pretty interesting spike there. Yeah, I am really glad we found that. And I am not going to hit on it. I'm going to take that home, put it in the tank, and try to clear that head. I don't want to break anything. Hope I'm still filming here. That's a very interesting spike. So, let's just see if there's anything else back here. I'm getting, sounds like there's something else in there adjacent to it. Let's dig in just a little bit. Definitely sounds like there's something underneath there. In my excitement, I'm splashing everything. Hold on, I gotta clean the lens off. It gets a little better. I'm excited. Can you see that I'm excited? Well, this is great. We found a very interesting spike. We found the old section of the Dinky rail. And whatever was back there, I pulled out. Huh. Let's see here. That's interesting. It was a pretty strong signal too. That was the old spike. That was a pretty powerful hit I was getting. I really think there was something else in there. Yep. Huh. Well, let me turn this off. Turn it back on. It's sort of a bummer that I thought there was something in there. It's definitely getting a hit. Huh. And it was a pretty good hit too. I hate it when that happens. Oh, here a second. This thing is messing up again. Alright, in we go. There, from there. Make sure it didn't get pushed up under. Dig a little. Nothing. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's move on. Did we check back here? I think we did. I'll just pull some stuff back a little bit. Oh, nothing in there. Well, let's tell you what. Let's keep walking a little bit. This thing's going crazy again. Hold on. Turn it off for a second. So anyhow, we got this really cool spike. So today we have not been skunked. Take that home, clean it up, find out what it is. All right. Here's another tie. We might as well check this one too. So, dig out here just a bit. Okay. Got a pinpointer going. Getting nothing. I don't know if I'm getting a hit here. Just clean out a little bit. No, guess not. Nope, nothing there. Or is there? Oh, it's a little piece of iron. Look at that. Yep. Little piece of iron right there. Probably ore. Alright, I'm gonna put that in my pocket. And okay. Yep. I'm gonna move on. A little wetter, but moving on. Well, I'm feeling really good about this little expedition today. Finding stuff. Now we're up to this point where the stream changes course. So I think what we want to do is come back here with the metal detector and go through some of this more. I think it's a pretty good find. But before I sign off, how about a nice peaceful shot of a waterfall in the sun? Well, I dropped my digging line. There we go. There. Isn't that nice? Thanks for being with me today. We did good. It's a long video. You don't have to watch it all, but at least watch the last 15 or so minutes. That's where I find the spike. And part of the beginning where I find the Dinky track. So have a great day, and thanks for being along.